Hey, Mrs. Edna, blessings to you. Blessings, blessings, blessings to you. How you doing? How you doing? Happy Monday, you guys. Happy Monday, happy Monday. Happy Monday, y'all. So blessed Monday to be alive. I feel a lot better. I pray that you guys are doing well on this morning. Our declaration is going to be, God has already worked it out. Again, our declaration is going to be, God has already worked it out. I'm going to say it one more time. God has already worked it out. I'm going to say it one more time. God has already worked it out. I'm going to say it one more time. God has already worked it out. He's already worked it out for your good. He's already worked it out. Last night was one of those nights, I'm going to just be real, you guys, where I went to bed. Listen, blessings to you, Natasha. Blessings to you, lady. Coach Tina, blessings to you. God has already worked it out. Come on, I need y'all to type that in. God has already worked it out. Anybody on here got some things that like maybe you've been stressing about or concerned about? Anybody on here can say, Apostle, I got this one thing that I've been concerned about, or I have this one thing that it's kind of been stressing me out. It's been worrying me. Maybe you've even gotten to the point where it just all the way makes you emotional just to think about it, just to talk about it. It just literally makes you emotional when you think about it, right? God has already worked it out. Somebody needs to hear this. God has already worked it out. Coach Katina, you need to hear this word. God has already worked it out. I'm going to say it again. God has already worked it out. So you guys know this, this past weekend was a very emotional weekend for me. I was, blessings to you. When I say I was at my wit's end, I was at my wit's end. Like I cried about, everything that's happened the past few weeks. I felt what I needed to feel, and I'm going to just be real. I went to bed, and I didn't think anything of it. And so this morning I woke up, and I was still kind of feeling, that pressure that you feel. I'm like, Lord, they about to put that notice on my door, X, Y, Z. But I went ahead and I did the things that I know that I needed to do. And so the first thing as I got dressed that the Lord told me, he said, I need you to go ahead and call the apartment complex. I said, all right, God, I'm going to call them. This time, I tried calling them last week, but this time they answered like literally right away. And so I'm talking to the lady. I'm like, I'm calling because I got, the rental assistance and I got approved for it. And you know what she told me? She said, oh, yeah, I know that sometimes those things take a while. So what I'll do is just update your account. It was so easy. She said, I'll just update your account when it posts. And so then I thought about it. I'm like, because I'm telling this lady, listen, I don't want no issues with rent this month. She like, no, when it comes through, when it posts to my portal, I'll update your account with whatever amount it is. And so I called back again. And that was like what she told me the second go around. Pretty much you don't have anything to worry about. I can see your name in the portal. And once it pops up, it takes a while. I'll update like your account. And so listen. Yeah. And so in that moment, even called like the rental assistance people, finally got somebody on the phone. The lady was so nice. She was like, okay, we have all your information. Just keep an eye. If anything happens, just call, upload the document and call us back. Right. And so as I'm spending time with God, the Lord begins to say, do you not see that like a lot of times the things that my children worry about and are stressed about and concerned about, do you not see how a lot of times I already have the solution? I felt like such a fool. Anybody ever felt that way? Has anybody ever felt that way? Like you stressing and you worrying about something, and then in the end, God comes through in a way, and then you feel foolish because you know that you have acted a butt. You have you have been that 2-year-old that falls out and flops in the middle of the floor because you can't get your way, or because you're afraid that the circumstance is literally going to take you under, right? that it's going to overtake you. That was how I felt this morning. Like, God, I done been emotional. I done been doing all of this. I done been doing all of that. And it was just as simple, right? It was just as literally as simple as her saying, I know it takes a while, so I'll just update your account when the amount posts. There was no issue at all. And a lot of times in our faith journey, we 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, there will be a moment where you are up against something that is bigger than you. Not only will you be up against something that is bigger than you, but there will be moments where you have literally come to the end of your rope, and wherever way you turn, there is literally nothing that you can do. But the Lord says in all of those events, He has it worked out. In all of those circumstances, He has it worked out. And so He allows those moments to come because these are moments where our faith has to be built. I pray that I'm making sense. He has to allow the discomfort. He has to allow our fears to come out. He has to allow for us to be triggered because there is no other way for our faith to be matured. And even now, He's reminding me of a few years ago. My mother had this big bill on her house that was due. Her house is paid off, but you guys know when you own a house, you have to pay taxes. So she owed like back taxes. The city had sent her a pretty much a paper saying like, you have until this date to like pay this. Hear me now. The city had sent her, it was thousands of dollars. But the city sent her like this notice saying you got until this date or they were going to do something. Don't ask me because I really don't remember, don't really recall. So my mother, when I say she was so stressed out about this situation because it was so much bigger than her, she knew that on her own, she did not have the money, all of the money that she needed. And I'm going to be real. While she was going through that, you could see the stress in her face. You ever like seen somebody, or maybe it's been you, where your stress shows on your face? It's like wherever you go, people can just look at you and say, something is going on with that person. Something's going on with them. They stressed out about something. They're emotional about something. This was my mother. Well, do you not know that by the time it came, the due date came, do you not know she had every single thing? Hear me, I'm going somewhere with this. She had every single thing that she needed to pay that bill. And the point that God made to me back then was, the devil can't take something that God has said belongs to us. I'm going to say it again. The enemy cannot take something that God has deemed already yours. The enemy cannot destroy something that he did. Y'all not feeling me. That he didn't create. He can't take something that he ain't give you. And he can't destroy, right? What God has said rightfully belongs to you. There are some of y'all that are right where I was. Some of y'all have been emotional this entire year. Some of y'all have been, having your own fears come to the surface this entire year. Some of y'all have been stressed out, crying about things that are beyond your control. You've been all in your head, and it feels like God isn't saying anything about the thing that's really bothering you. But did it ever done that God is allowing things to play out the way that they are so that your faith can be matured? I'll wait. I'll wait. I will wait. Could it be that maybe God isn't silent because he's ignoring you, but that he's silent because he needs you to learn this lesson of learning to trust him? And the only way that there are some things that we can only learn faith by experience. Experience a lot of times with God is our greatest teacher, because if God never gave you the experience and only gave you the miracle, our faith would never get to a place where we can go from faith to faith and from glory to glory. We would never ever really earn the right to be truly leveled up. We would lack the maturity. It is like Dr. Prophet Jolyn Whitaker always uses this analogy. It's like giving a 2-year-old keys to a car. Would you trust them? Would you trust them? Would you trust them? All right, I'm going to say it again. It's like giving a little kid the keys to your car. It's like leaving a 2-year-old at home by themselves. Would you trust them? All right. Would you trust them? Absolutely not. You 2 years old, ain't no way I'm leaving you in the house alone. Ain't no way. It reeks of danger. But a lot of times what parents will do is you wait until your kid gets to a certain point, right? You wait until your kids get to a certain point of maturity, a certain place where they understand what you expect, where they know right from wrong. And then you may think about letting them stay home while you go to work. Hello, somebody. Did it ever dawn on you that sometimes faith looks like that? Where there are just some things that God says, I can't give you this without giving you the experience. Because the experience teaches you things that nothing else wills. It teaches you principles. It teaches you different qualities that I need you to possess. It teaches you different principles that nothing else or no one else can teach you. And this is the part of the journey that nobody likes to talk about. Those moments where God, he makes you go through it. He makes you, deal with those moments where he's silent about that situation. He makes you do it because he needs you to get to a place where you trust him fully. I don't know who this is for, but the Lord says to tell you, he's already worked it out. Your only job is to trust that he's worked it out. That was all God needed of me this past weekend, was to literally trust that he would handle the situation with rent. That was literally all he needed. All I knew was that, God, I've done this. It's been done. This application for recertification has been done for over a month now. They giving me the runaround. I can't get in contact with the apartment complex. I was freaking out because I'm like, Lord, I don't have the money to pay for rent this month. I don't have it. I don't have it, God. And so when God went silent, when all of my efforts to avoid being stretched didn't work, I did what many people do. I had an emotional temper tantrum. Oh, don't act like you ain't never been there. Don't act like you ain't never had an emotional temper tantrum where you really want God to tell you how the situation is going to work out. And when he does it, come on, listen, that's the first level of freaking out. And then where the second and third level of freaking out comes into play at is when you try to fix it yourself and nothing you do works. So what happens? You go from a level 1 to a level 10 easily. And in a lot of instances, in moments where we freaking out, when God finally does do it, you have those moments where we're like me. I'm like, I feel like such a fool. I feel so foolish to have doubted you. Come on. I feel so foolish to have, allowed my emotions to get the best of me. Kind of like my mom, right? When she was able to pay that big bill on her house, she felt like a fool. She felt foolish. Because here you are wearing the stress on your face. Yeah, on your face. People asking how you doing. You like, I'm okay. I'm all right. The entire time, God has already worked it out. The entire time, God has already worked it out. The thing a lot of times is when we can't see his solution, when we can't see how he's worked it out, we immediately think that he's not working it out. Okay. A lot of times, even though we will know that God works behind the scenes, a lot of times we will freak out. Hear me now. We will literally freak out. Hear me. We'll freak out because we feel that because I can't see what you're doing, that means you're not doing anything. And that's where we start trying to put our hands in the cookie jar. We try to help God out. We try to avoid whatever the pitfall is that we feel is about to happen. We try to avoid that worst case scenario. We allow our minds to roam a million miles an hour. And then when God does it, you feel foolish. I don't care what nobody say. You feel foolish. You really do. You feel bad for doubting God. God has already worked it out. Can I just get y'all to tell your neighbor that? God has already worked it out. I'm going to say it again. God has already worked it out. I'm going to say it one more time. God has already worked it out. I'm going to keep saying it until somebody speak back to me. God has already worked it out. He's already worked it out. He's already worked it out for you, Coach Katina. I don't know why God wants me to tell you this. You don't need to spend another minute overthinking about that, about your situation. He says, I need to tell you that again. You don't need to spend another hour worrying about the same situation. The reason why you cannot hear God concerning it is because you have been overthinking. He has already worked it out. And just like God showed me that there was literally nothing for me to be concerned about, will be the same way that he shows you that there's nothing, and that there was never nothing for you to be worried about. It's already worked out. And the thing about it is, it's only a matter of time before you get to see that it was already worked out for your good. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. And that's the broadcast. That's it. To those of you guys that feel led to sow, the seed title, God has already worked it out. He's already worked it out. That's the seed title. God has already worked it out. And you need to sow seed into this word, Coach Katina. God says, you need to actually put a seed into this word, because it was right on time. But I'm telling y'all, last night, I went straight to sleep. I said, Lord, I'm going to sleep. You will do what you're going to do. And I went straight to sleep and woke up this morning. God said, call. And it was just a simple, this conversation didn't even learn. It didn't even last 30 seconds. She's like, oh yeah, those things take some time. They take a while to actually post. But once it does, I'll just update your account. Easy. Simple. Simple. It worked out. All it took was a simple phone call. 30-second phone call. Oh yeah. Yeah, I have a portal here where I can see everybody, and once it posts, I'll just update your account. And I'm trying to make sure, like, I'm not gonna have no problems with like rent this month. She's like, I'll just update your account. Good. That's it. So listen, that's the broadcast, y'all. That is it. God wanted me to share this morning. I actually ate a real meal. I went and got me something to eat. So for those of you guys that want to sow, the links are there. If you need prayer for anything, the email is in the description box of every single video. At the moment, my current need is I need gas. That is all I need at this moment. It's just to put gas in my vehicle. That's the update. That is where we are. And so as funds come in, just for me to put gas in my vehicle, I will let you guys know once. And I don't have a specific amount. I just need to put something in the gas tank so that I can make it to the gym, so that I can maybe tomorrow or the next day go to the grocery store. But that is it. I love y'all. I am rooting for you. And so if you know you need to sow, the links are there. But until next time, y'all, peace.